Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the introduction for Lessons for Full Spectrum Humans. Second semester, I'm calling it 2019.2. Today is June 13th. So first of all, please note, I have changed the scheduled day and time of our class meeting. Danielle, good to see you tuning in. Wonderful. Good. No, you're fantastic. You're all good. Scheduled day and time is now Thursdays at noon, 12 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, PDT. So I'm in California. So the classes will still continue to be recorded and archived and placed on YouTube as they have been in the past. Like, none of that is changing. What is different this semester is enrolled students, you are going to get a heavy workload of homework. You're going to have to buckle down and really work hard. I'm joking. No, but it's going to be fun homework. So what I want to do is really teach everyone all of these things that I'm showing you. These are maps of time. This is a language. And I'm really considering, or like learning music theory. So I'm really considering this like teaching a language class. It's hugely important for you to actually learn the letters and do the actual drawing. So yeah, part of my understanding of this, not to be condescending in any way, like when young people are first learning their letters, people learn in different ways. Some children learn really well, like just by looking at a flashcard, like this is the letter A, this is the letter B. Some children learn really well by having a tracing pad where they trace with their fingers along the, or trace with a pencil along what it is. So I learn really well by tracing these shapes. It's why I do this work as an artist all the time. So I went through this learning process in terms of understanding what I present here in this class. Hello, welcome. What do I present here in this class? This is a language of vibration, and I'm pointing here to work in progress. You can see things on the wall behind me in my physical studio, and I'll give you a little virtual tour. I have a little slideshow set up, and you can also see what I've got printed on my clothing here. They're drawings that are in a language, and my intention for this class is to teach other people this language. So again, my only agenda in any of this is freedom, like to give people who are in this class tools for freedom. My wonderful class is cheery. This is wonderful. Yes. That's what it is. None of this is meant to, so because I'm on this planet, people are traumatized. And when I go to be like, here, I have a tool for freedom, people are like, I'm skeptical. What is that thing? Because they've been through a lot of SHIT. I totally understand. So that's why, first of all, my persona is very approachable, and none of this is a false mask. Like, all of this is for real. Like, I'm very loving, I'm very approachable. And also what is being offered here is very genuine, very sincere, and it's not something that's proprietary. Like, I'm literally here just saying, like, take these ideas and run with it. That's it. So the language itself is a language of vibration, a language of frequency. Music is a language of vibration and frequency. So I just played some music down here on my little piano, right? Now I'm going to do something that's not music. Cover your ears. That is not music. That is me mashing the keyboard with my fist. So what is the difference between music and the noise of my fist on a keyboard? Music versus noise. It's harmonic organization. So when sound waves are perfectly organized, I can simply point to this painting over here. When sound waves are perfectly organized, it makes music. And that's basically what I paint. I paint harmonics. So the perfect organization of sound waves is harmonics. But this also relates to time, to our time bodies. So there's a language of frequency that is organized in like a series of harmonics. And when I keep using that word, it means proportional, nested waves or circles. So all of my work, you'll see that it's made out of proportional nested waves and circles. And my intention for this class is to teach you that language. So my intention is not to make anyone else a cookie cutter of me. My intention is not, I'm not that type of an art teacher. I don't say like, you must paint in exactly my style. Like, no, that's the antithesis. What lasagna is really the unlocking or revealing or augmentation or amelioration of your natural tendency, whatever your thing is. So the symphony, I'm using this as a genetic symphony. We all play music. Your music is unique to you. I don't want anybody to try to really copy me. I don't want you to like, well, I mean, you can buy a shirt from my store. I'm not turning this into some kind of an advertisement. I want to say, you don't have to wear my shirt, but like, I don't want you to have to like wear your hairstyle like me, paint your paintings like me. Like, no, you're not supposed to do any of that. There are reasons for this. First of all, each one of you has a genetic code that is unique to you. My genetic code is unique to me, like my fingerprint is unique to me, and my trajectory through time is unique to me. So that means where this body was born, what are the circumstances that this consciousness and this body went through, how did I fly through time to get to this moment now? My journey to this moment now is different than all of your journeys. Like if this moment now is, the area of my wrist or whatever, and I went down this road of my arm to get to this moment now, but all of you guys had your own unique pathways to get here where we're converging on this moment. And then there are a series of unique pathways that branch outward from this moment. So this is beginning to understand, like, we're in rapport in the time field. These are some of the types of ideas that I teach in this class. I call it a multidimensional understanding of time. It helps a lot to use diagrams. Like, so, okay, what these nested harmonic proportions are, they're diagrams of time, and it relates to music. And when we play the right music with our DNA, we get to continue to experience being in time. And you don't get to continue to experience being in time if you die. That's called because you played the wrong music with the notes of your body, with the DNA of your body. Oh my goodness, boss has arrived. Come on up. You want to jump on up? Want to jump on up? She's just over here. Here. Come on up. Sorry to interrupt everyone, but the boss is here. For new people, for everyone who's in the class, you already know. And for new people, usually she makes her appearance after about an hour. So it's kind of funny. Wait, let me drink a little bit. It's not an inappropriate expectation to think that anybody should copy anybody, because where you were born and how you are flying through time and how you have arrived at this moment is unique to you. And that also means that, I'll start to get into some of these diagrams in later classes, but as you are approaching that membrane, that is the membrane of death, or the boundary between being in the time field and not being in the time field, your trajectory of rectification must be unique to you. That's like, it's like your healing herbs must be a unique balance of, blended just for your metabolism, just for your constitution. What are the things that you need in your life to heal you? The events, the words that need to be said to you, the feelings from another person, like because each one of us has the challenges that we went through in our life. And then you have like a scar or a wound or whatever it is. What are the healing things? What are the events that are healing? Each one needs their own unique concoction or healing cocktail of events. So that's why my life template, my life actual literal events cannot be overlaid on someone else. And that's a wrong expectation. But you can use my life as a template is what I'm trying to say. You can take the idea of what I've done with Flying Rainbow Lasagna and apply it to your own experience in your own unique way. So it's like doing a cover of a song. If Led Zeppelin wrote Stairway to Heaven and you really enjoy that song, you play that song on your own instrument. Your instrument is your body with your own vibrating strings of your DNA and your own consciousness and your own love tone and your own connection to the divine from your unique perspective in time. So that's the healing that is going on. Like, we are right now experiencing a individual, I was just looking at my dog, individual, collective society, planetary, and galactic and beyond healing. This is quite amazing. So also, sorry, I have dog hair on my nose. That is the opportunity of being here at this time. A lot of people see it as a burden. They're like, oh, I don't like having a body, my shoulders go down. I don't like having to go to the grocery store and buy food and toilet paper and all of this is so burdensome. Like, can't I just point my finger and make magic happen and fly around? Like, I know everyone's feeling that frustration because you're probably remembering what things were like in other times and places that were less encumbered and that were more free. So one of the big emphases here or takeaways is that we can regain those capacities. And this is not just some kind of a fairy tale. Like, as soon as I start to talk about this, I can feel the rational skepticism starting to arise, that people are like, wait, that's not possible. What are you talking about? This is imagination fantasy land. But, well, the truth is we are in a new level of the time field. And that's what these teachings that I bring. So I came in 2001. I'm a galactic walk-in. Hello. And mostly what I did when I first came in was just talking pictures, and I was not very articulate like this. So it took me a long time to figure out how to be articulate, how to put these concepts into words. And so, yeah, it took a long time. So mostly I talk with pictures, and it's my way of bypassing, language is kind of hacked. Like there's a lot of hacks in the genetic code, and one of the hacks is language. And the hack, it's not just language from person to person, it's also language in your own mind. That for many people, that is their only access to thought structure, is verbalized language. And so one of the big teachings of this class is to get beyond verbalized language. So yeah, you can dance a new dance with your DNA, you can play a new song with your DNA, and in so doing, you get additional degrees of freedom. You don't have to keep on running on the same hamster wheel over and over and over, or playing every single wrong note on the piano until you finally hit the right note that you're supposed to be playing all along. You can actually know what you're supposed to be doing. But that knowing what you're supposed to be doing is unique from individual to individual. So what do I teach in this class? Because it's not right to say, copy me. And it's not right for me to say, I will tell everybody what to do. I'm totally not on that level at all. Like I will reassure anyone who's new, yeah, no, my agenda is for total freedom, not for me to control, own, or operate anybody else. So this is all about getting everybody else up to speed so that you can be your own pilot. You got to learn how to pilot through time. You got to learn the map of time. So what I'm going to do this semester, I know I'm talking in very long circular loops. Thank you for sticking with me. What I'm doing this semester in terms of your homework is you will need to have paper. You will need to have a pencil. You will need to have like colored pencils, or like, markers in all of the colors of the rainbow. And I'm going to start to ask you to draw the actual diagrams. And you don't have to make artwork that looks exactly like mine, but the basic skeletons. This is like saying in art school, you go to art school, they teach you how to draw a face. Like they teach you what skeletal structure is, they teach you what bone structure and proportions are, so that you can draw a face that looks like a face. But you can make it whatever style you want. You can make it a Van Gogh face, you can make it a Picasso face, you can make it a Rembrandt face, but you still you got to make it look like a face. So what I'm going to teach are the basic structures. Patricia says, so excited about homework. Thank you very much. That's why I love my class. I love the students in this class so much. Thank you. And I love it. Yeah, people are showing me got all sorts of cool things on their thumbnails. Hold on a second. Let me drink. I get, so also, if you're new to the class, to me, this is like running a marathon. I get very excited. I'm talking in class. I'm using a lot of energy. I drink a lot. So thank you for your understanding if I stop to drink water a lot. So I'm going to teach everyone the basic building blocks of how to understand these harmonic structures. It's like, I can tell you, hey, this is a letter A, but so much more powerful if I say, now you draw the letter A. And if you haven't mastered it, here's something that you can trace to look at it, to know how to do it. So it will involve math. But all of this is fun math. And it's not math in the same way that you probably were taught in school, which is Arabic numerals, 1 + 1 = 2. That's like a linear equation, and it goes in a line. This is a different type of math that is more holistic. And this is actually the direction that math is moving in terms of higher studies, like not necessarily just basic calculation, but higher studies are looking into things like vortex-based math, which is understanding that math can be like this cross-section of this vortex, that addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division can be represented as vectors of force and lines between numbers. And once you understand that a math equation can be a shape, then you understand, oh, flying rainbow lasagna is a math equation. Yes. And guess what else? You are a math equation because you are a shape. So I'm going to start just showing you some shapes, because also, like, I joke. I'm like, I come on here on the videos and I do the flapping of my moving mouth parts, but all the rest of the week I talk with pictures, and this is mostly what I feel most comfortable with. So also, like, I haven't been doing that much whiteboarding in this little presentation, but mostly I do a lot in the class because that is how I talk about things. So let me just do showing you some pictures and just get started on that, because that is really how I feel most comfortable communicating. So this is not that early of a painting. Like, I did it, I think, around 2007 or so. And let me just drink water. Oh, wait. And let me also get this thumbnail thing going properly. Thumbnail is good. Drinking water. Running the marathon. I did this painting, I think, around 2008. And I did it specifically to demonstrate these harmonic proportions that I'm working with on almost all of my work. So whatever you're looking at, this, like, let's say there's a basic melody, a basic chord. That's the basic chord that I'm working with. There are these 7 colors of the rainbow: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. There are these basic proportions, or intervals, the way that the circles nest together. And then once you understand and master that basic shape, you begin adding it together. And so also what I'm showing you right now is a two-dimensional version of it, but I want you as a class, because you are super awesome and very smart and moving into a higher dimensional state of perception, to begin understanding that these are all cross sections and that what you're actually looking at is something that is spherical. So right there, that central person, it looks almost like two eyes looking at each other. That is a cross section of this shape, of this torus. But this is actually two toruses together, or tori at 90-degree angles. So if we have one donut in a cross section, that is what this painting is all about. And this is a little bit of a this today what I'm doing is just the intro. This is a little bit of a preview into lesson 1, which comes next week. But I want you to start getting an idea of what this is. It's a language. This is a language, and this is your language lesson, like parlez-vous français? Like, we are learning a new language today. And so I'm giving you some examples of what this language is. So these are some of the earliest poems or sentences or most simple sentences that we can make with this language. This is another really early painting. And so this one shows one of the primary words in this language. So the colors, that would be like basic letters, like the basic, or like notes on the piano: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. And then we would go white, because in additive color mixing, all of the colors of the rainbow add up to white light. So that's if you're adding light together. Because white is the primary color. I'm pointing on my screen out my window where sunlight is coming in. That is what, so this is actually a good example of light that is calibrated from our sun and how our eyes work, because scientists made cameras based upon how your physical eye works. So on your little tiny screen right now, if you look at the color of that light that I'm pointing at, it looks white. But if you look at my skin, this looks slightly yellow. Hey, you know why? Because I got this lamp over here that's like a kind of whatever, like a desk lamp, a studio lamp, that's got a yellow lampshade on it. So I look yellow to you because this camera has calibrated for that to be white light. So our sun emits its own spectrum of light, of consciousness, of possibilities and probabilities. P.S. Photons are not just light. They're not just stupid, dead light. They are probabilities and possibilities in time. They're little particles of time, and they're conscious, and their feelers, their sensorium from the stars. We'll get more into this. This is just the intro. Our sun and the spectrum of light that it emits is its own particular flavor of consciousness. Our sun, Sol, is slightly yellowish, but we calibrate to it as if it is pure white light. So that's our like baseline. We say the sun is white, and we're going to take everything else in the context, comparing everything else to that light as being white. And when you take that white light from our star and you put it through a refractor, a lens, a crystal, a triangular prism, not a prison that you go to jail, a prism that you use to split the light into its constituent elements, you get the colors of the rainbow. And the colors of the rainbow are aspects of self. They're aspects of self, they're layers of time, they're versions of yourself that are moving at different rates. Again, this is intro to lesson 1, but not formally lesson 1. What you're looking at here, so each one of those colors, or notes on the octave, so white would be additive color mixing because you're adding up all of the colors. But when we paint as an artist, here in art class, if you add up all of the colors of paint in my studio, you would not get a bucket of white paint. You would get a bucket of kind of blackish, grayish, brownish paint. That's because pigments that we paint with on my painting, that's subtractive color mixing. So there's a difference, and this is something that will be echoed quite a lot in these teachings. There's a difference between the world of experienced reality, you and me actually sitting with our butts on chairs and actually painting with paintbrushes, as opposed to the world of pure light, or the world of pure consciousness, or the world of pure harmonics and waves nesting together. So in my own perception, there's the world of pure abstraction. And when I'm touching up here, I'm touching my crown, and that is like the highest note on the human octave that's seeing on these abstract levels. And then down from there, there's this, which is seeing on the anthropomorphic level. That's like the experience level, where there's room for wiggle room. There's room for things to be a little bit different and a little bit whatever. So there is a difference between the world of pure abstraction, where we're doing additive color mixing and everything adds up to white light, and the experienced realm of human dynamics and anthropocentric behavior. human nature, where if you add all the colors together, it does not add up to white light, okay? You got to understand that there's a big difference here in the realm of experience, that you can't just take that template of the abstract world and then apply it willy-nilly, like in a very rigid way, over what we experience in the physical realm. That's not going to be an effective application. There's going to be flaws in the system if you do that. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, those are like basic building blocks or letters, and you could also think of them as DNA codons, like little amino acids, and those little basic building blocks get built up into a word. So now this painting that you're looking at over here, I'll just wiggle my cursor over it, this painting over here, this is a detail from a painting. It's actually many of those fitting together, but I just wanted to show you the detail. I gotta drink water, hold on. This is the vortex. So what you're seeing here are nested vortices, but these vortices are another, they are the words that happen when you put together the colors into, and you're going to start to make sentences too. So this is understanding like levels of complexity. You start off with one note, but then if you add another note, oh wait, that's a chord. Oh wait, that's an even more complex chord. That's an even more complex chord. You can keep going. So these vortexes are another basic building block in understanding this language. And that painting there is a two-dimensional representation of this little sculpture that is like so fragile and has now broken in several places and needs a lot of repairs. So I'm just holding it like very delicately, but I made it intentionally so that you can see what this shape actually looks like. It's two vortices put together. And this is the shape of your chakras. Chakras just means energy wheels, the wheel of spinning energy in Sanskrit. It's not a special or magical word in any way. We could also call them your energy centers, if you like that better. And you have chakras that are arranged up and down your body, like with different focal points on your physical body, but they are non-physical structures. So this light that we're talking about is non-physical light. It is light that I see with my inner vision. This is not something that I perceive with my physical vision. So there's a distinction to be made between seeing with your inner vision versus seeing with your physical vision. And also the quality of light that I see with my inner vision is much more vibrant and alive than anything that I could find in terms of the vibrancy of pigmented paint. So when you look at these paintings, just like turn up the volume times 10,000 because they're way brighter and more amazing. And I think that if you have ever had a psychedelic adventure, like I don't do psychedelic adventures because I have to protect my brain from overload. But if you do those types of things, I think you have probably seen these colors in those states of being. So it's seeing with your inner vision, or if you have ever had naturally occurring inner visions. So now let me show you another detail from another painting. This one is from the painting that's called Children of True Humanity. So you can see that same four-lobed shape that is in the center of here, but this painting is a cross-section of this. So this is actually a three-dimensional shape, but you're looking at it head-on in cross-section in a lot of these paintings. So, you know, I'm trying to use artist tools of perspective and other things in order to show that there's volume and there's depth in this world of time. As the map is not a flat map, this is very big. The map of time is not a flat object. It is an object that has depth. And also right now I'm working with static paint. I use optical illusions to make it look as if it's vibrating or moving or twisting or whatever. However, it is actual paint molecules. So you need to, as the viewer, add the dimension of time to this because they also move. They move and change as you are watching them. They move and change. This is what the internal landscape is like. So this is another depiction of those basic harmonic proportions. This is an example, and this one's getting more complex. So like we started off with letters. The letters made some words. The words fit together and make sentences. Look at that. Now I'm going to show you another picture, and this one is all about how you fit in with this language. So here what I have is painting that I use quite often in promoting this class. Let me just drink. Because it's such a perfect, I did it as a diagrammatic or as perfect as I could example of this is one way to depict the chakras or energy centers as all converging at one point inside of the human figure. But this is a very accurate depiction. Well, if I'm super accurate, oh, boss is getting into something. If I'm super accurate, it's not just one convergence point. There are convergence points all up and down the physical body. So I have other drawings to show you on that. You want me to show it to you right now? You're like, yes, Aurora, don't make us wait. I want it right now. Okay, here's lasagna right now, everyone. Okay, so this is the picture of energy centers arranged up and down the body. So in this way, this is an even more accurate representation than the other one. So first I'll go back to this though. In this one, you can see that there's a very, very large energy field that surrounds and interpenetrates what I call the anthropomorphic form. This, what I'm highlighting with my cursor, the human form. One head, 2 arms, 2 legs. Most humans are shaped in this way. One head, 2 arms, 2 legs. And you can also see this little feature up here. That's the crown chakra. So, okay, some of the things you need to know about chakras. One donut goes around like this, or one donut, one torus, one half of a chakra goes around like this. And the chakras of your body are oriented with your crown and your root, which is the one that's at the base of your spine, as being oriented. It's like the helicopter. Helicopter has blades that go like this, and then helicopter has blade that goes like this. So we have the top and bottom of our octave are stabilizing everything. They are going at this rate, at this orientation, I should say. And the other chakras are oriented so that their wheels are moving around like this. So you have perpendicular gyrostabilizing motions, something that's spinning around like this and something that's spinning around like this. And that gives you a stability as you fly. Just like a helicopter is stable as it flies through the atmosphere, you become stable as you fly through time. Got it? Like, this is called the flying rainbow lasagna. Like I'm telling everybody, it's not the sitting on the floor rainbow lasagna. It's in the title. It's in the title. This is how you fly. But flying is not with the clank clank mental spaceship. This is very big. I'm a cosmic visitor. I came here into this world. This is the way that I came here. I didn't come here in a metal spaceship. So I didn't come here in a plastic sculpture either. This is a plastic representation of something that I do on an energetic level. And I made the plastic sculpture so that you could see it, because I understood when I came here that people in this time and place can't see the higher dimensions yet. But you will, and that's what this class is all about. So someone also asked me, I need to drink a little bit more. I have wonderful people that I'm connecting with. A relatively new person in my life asked me, like, do you think that she could even learn this stuff? Because it's, very, whatever, is she ready? And I'm like, of course you're ready. It's like, this is the question. It's like, are you ready to learn to play the piano? Like, it is not some mystical thing. It just requires that you get a piano. Well, first you have to make the choice that you want to learn, get a piano, get an actual instrument, and then go through the process of learning. That anybody who ever played the piano did those steps at a certain point. That no one was born with this capacity. No one was born, with with symphonic repertoire. So that's it. So is a person, what does it take? What does it take to be a special person who could do flying rainbow lasagna? You have to want to do it. That's what it is. And that is why I structure this class in this way. Like, you do not have to have a PhD in quantum physics. And the information that I present here is actually very advanced, high-level math and physics concepts. However, I present it in a way that is intentionally accessible to people that might not have a background, because that doesn't matter. What matters is that you have a good heart and you have the desire to learn and you have the intention to want to reach forward into this higher dimension. So yeah, and the truth is, this higher dimension, flying rainbow lasagna, that what this class is all about. Like, I'm giving you the backstory, the foundation stuff. This is like, how to write a poem, how to write a symphony. Like, I'm teaching like the basic letters and stuff at this intro level. That this is all about how to improve your existence, how to have I'm at a loss for words because it's so much. How to have a more free and more expansive experience with less suffering, less death. We're not supposed to have decrepitude and disease and suffering and death. Yeah, Patricia's wonderful. She says, how to become an Olympian genius. Yes, that is exactly it. So those are the capacities that are actually our true nature. Our undistorted true nature is for each one of us to be as strong as an Olympic athlete, as smart as your greatest intellectual professor, whomever, Einstein, Hawking, whomever's the smartest guy in your life, the best artist, as great as Rembrandt or Van Gogh, the best singer as the most amazing. Who's the best singer, guys? Sing as wonderfully as them. To be an innovator, to be a healer, to be a community builder, like, you know, the greatest leader. And when I say I said community builder, because when I say the word leader in this barbaric world, you think, oh, slash and hack. Who hacked off the most heads, right, and invaded the most lands? No. Who is the greatest leader? Because I'm talking about like leading through love. So yes, we are all supposed to be all of those things. And that is what we were in our genetic code before the degradation. And so I feel a great deal of personal responsibility in rectifying the genetic code. I was a big part of how the genetic code was created in its initial format, and I witnessed the degradation of it. And so this is my opportunity as a cosmic being to come into this form and say, hey guys, this is the patch code. Everything went hinky-jinky on DNA. DNA is not in itself inherently flawed. It is actually, and I'm not a transhumanist in any way, it is actually like a software program that runs as an armature in the biological realm to give more structure, and so that more complexity can be achieved in the biological realm. Like DNA is not some false overlay technological thing like the Borg, you know, like with like microchips implanted in your hand, you walk around like a zombie. It is not like that at all. It's really more like what I just said. When you're a sculptor and you work with clay, if you make a small piece, you don't have to use an armature. But if you want to start making something big, you got to use a skeleton inside, something that gives it structure that you can then put the clay on top of. So with the structure of cellular biological life, it's like mushy clay. And you got to have some kind of an armature or a skeleton of events to hold that clay together so that it doesn't just kind of like gush on down into gushiness. Okay, wait. Let me get back to my face because people are saying wonderful things. Then I'll go back to more images. Hold on. Wait. Okay. I understand completely, Lauren. Thank you. Lauren is saying this is so much fun, but she's got to run to an appointment. I completely understand. And also, so usually I do a 2-hour-long presentation. There's level 1 and there's level 2. And thank you. There are wonderful students from level 1 who are continuing their education. They have matriculated to level 2. Thank you so much. That is wonderful. I applaud. And there's some people that are super overachievers and they want to do level 1 and level 2 at the same time. You can do that too. Like, it depends on how hungry you are for lasagna and how much time and energy you have to devote to this. But I love it when people are saying like that this is very fun to learn, because it is fun to learn. Don't be worried if you can only pop in for 5 minutes or if you're at work. I recognize this is the middle of the day for many people. Everything gets archived. So the way that I do the class, today I'm just doing a 1-hour intro. Next, and then, oh my goodness, I have to say this. Wait, the calendar, wait. Because, oh my goodness, I'm looking on my calendar. Hold on a second. Yeah, so I just got a thing in the mail today that I wanted to remember to say to class. 1 week from today is June 20th. My electric company just wrote to me today and said, we will be turning off your electricity on June 20th because they're going to do some kind of maintenance in the neighborhood. So I can't do class next week. I will have to reschedule. Since we're just starting class, there are options. Like, I can either make it a different day, but if you find that confusing, we can just say, we will take a 1-week break. I will give everyone their homework, come back in 2 weeks, and then we'll start the semester for real. I think that might be what I have to do, because I think that people might get confused if I'm like switch to another day when I literally just started the semester on Thursdays. But you can tell me in the chat what you think about that. And I'm sorry, I'm just thinking out loud. But the electric company is making my life hard for next week. Okay, that's the housekeeping that I have attended to. How do I run the class? Everything gets archived. So if you are on another continent, like I'm in California, if you are on another continent, we don't yet have any students in Antarctica, but other than that, literally everyone all over the world. So it's hard to find a time when everybody can assemble. So I did a poll of the enrolled students to say, what is the best daytime? That's how I came up with Thursdays at 12 noon. So everything gets archived. So when you are signed up and enrolled, you get the invitation that tells you that the Zoom meeting will be held on a particular day. And then you also get, at the end of the day, the uploaded archive. And I don't spam or do any kind of thing like that. Like, if you're concerned about sending me your email, that is how. So that's how I run the class. So Patricia made a wonderful comment here. Cosmic dancer. That is exactly right. And there's even, I think there's a T-Rex song called Cosmic Dancer that's very appropriate about that. That is what this is. And this is also, I said in the introduction earlier today on the other network, peaceful revolution. You know, I mean, like, I can't believe I have to worry about what I say so that I'm not booted off of YouTube. I'm always careful about choosing my language. Like, yes, I never advocate for violence in any way, but I used to joke and say like, oh yeah, this is my weapon, this is my gun, this is my bomb. But it's like, then I get like flagged by algorithms who are like, Aurora is a rainbow, like, you know, like whatever, she's going to shoot people. Like, no, I would never do anything like that. So I'm say all this, like, no, everything that I teach is about nonviolence. It is about literally dancing your way through time. So here, this is a brief aside on cosmic ethics. So I'm Aurora, I'm a cosmic visitor. Like, wait, how does that happen? How am I allowed to be here? All the time I say this, flying rainbow lasagna and my presence here does not break the rules of time, space, and consciousness. I bend the rules, but I don't break them. I oscillate the rules in a higher dimensional reality to give me enough wiggle room to be here, but I don't actually break the rules. So that's a huge distinction to make between myself and body-snatching, evil, malevolent, toothy monster type aliens that come here and rape, pillage, and eat, and they, you know, they exhibit the barbarian value system, and they really don't give an shit. I'm not like them, and I've done extensive work in my 18 years here, you know, behaviorally demonstrating that I'm not like them. So my ethics for being here are this. I'm on my personal journey. And each one of you are also on your personal journey. It's not like you came here to be like I'm going to like punch someone in the face. That's not what this is about. You're on your personal journey. And in terms of moving through time, being on your personal journey, you're allowed to have your pathway. You're allowed to do the things that you need to do. And it is not appropriate for others to, you know, try to like stop you on your journey. So I am here on my journey and I'm dancing my way through time. And there are beings that try to stop me or that they try to place obstacles or impediments or whatever. It is absolutely appropriate to, you know, fight against those beings, but that's not my purpose for being here. Like it's kind of like my purpose for being here is like not to scrub muddy footprints, but like I come into the studio to do my artwork and I'm like, there's a bunch of muddy footprints here. Like, okay, let me just scrub that up and then I can finally get to the fun stuff, which is the creation stuff. So this is what I'm trying to say. The dance of the flying rainbow lasagna, this dance is a very powerful dance, and you are a warrior of consciousness in terms of doing it. However, it's not a dance that you do like, I'm going to fight against someone else. It's not like punching someone in the face at all. It is a joyful expression of your own life, your own existence, and you're allowed to exist. I don't give you permission to exist. I remind you that you have permission to exist. And I encourage you to claim your right, claim your space, claim your body and your physical presence here. You're allowed to be here doing this, as I am allowed to be here doing this. And the flying rainbow lasagna is like the next step to that you're like, I'm allowed to be here. I'm allowed to have this body. I'm allowed to play the music that I want to play with my instrument of my body. So there are many, many beings here. And we get into that in this class at lesson 18. But I always talk about it. And then everyone's like, what's lesson 18? What's lesson 18? It's like, okay, we just like talk about like lesson 18 is the planetary invasion. It's the planetary rape. It's the rape of consciousness. It's the degradation of the genome. Like it's all the reason why we have to fly rainbow lasagna. So the way I used to structure, hey kitty cat, I used to structure this class by having like 4 months of collective, learning and growing together. And then we start talking about these heavy topics that are about planetary invasion and sexual vampirism and all these different things. But now it's pretty much like the cat is out of the bag. The cat is so out of the bag. The cat is like running around, climbing up the drapes. It's so out of the bag. So yeah, this is not a secret to anyone. Our planet was invaded. Our planet was raped. It's the primary trauma that we're dealing with. And this is the rectification tool. This is why I'm here. So what? Okay, wait. I absolutely fight against evil, but I don't fight against evil by being like, evil, I'm going to punch you in the face. Or like, evil, I'm going to shoot you with a gun, hack you with a machete. No. And in this presentation and in this class, I'm always really, really clear. I'm always clear that I'm not a transhumanist and that I don't advocate for violence. And also, like, violence doesn't actually fix this. That this is the whole thing. It is like not an effective solution. If I thought it were effective, then we would be speaking differently. This is an effective solution. You stand on a good footing in terms of cosmic law. You say, I am dancing my own dance. I'm dancing my own consciousness through the time field, and I'm allowed to be doing it. If someone else is trying to impede me, then I am, of course, allowed to interact with them, make sure that I can do what I need to do. But this is not like you're out to attack someone else. Really, really clear legal footing, so that you know that you're allowed to be doing this, because there are a lot of beings that don't want humanity to metamorphosize into our true form. So Ines, I hope Ines is still here, and I'll get to all these wonderful comments. Ines from Germany wrote me an email, and she was it was passing along something about the caution of 5G. And I completely agree. Like, here's the deal. 5G is analogous to the artificial Merkaba that was put up at the end of Atlantis, where they were going to totally mind control, boop, 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 mind control, I am a slave, I'm a slave, that level of mind control, everybody in Atlantis. And so as I was talking about the chakras that gyro stabilize, let's say you make those chakras go wibbly wobbly. Well, that gyro stabilizing is connected to our whole planet. If you make the chakras go wibbly wobbly, you make the whole planet go wibbly wobbly. And that is what they did. They made everything go wibbly wobbly, and it became a horrible catastrophe. And we still live in the aftermath and the amnesia of that catastrophe. And we are now trying to bootstrap ourselves on up, but it's not just bootstrap, because you do have assistance from higher dimensional levels of reality. So there's like inside out, like you're not just bootstrapping up, you're also turning inside out. So spoiler alert for anyone, and I will emphasize this over and over. And this is a pretty important semester. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on. Everyone's like, pole shift, like another catastrophe. No, pole shift is not north-south to south-north. You know, I'm making this little flipping gesture here. It is inside to outside. This is what lasagna is. Our planet is doing flying rainbow lasagna. Should I show this image? Let me scroll through this. Wait. I have to squint and scroll. So first, let me get the image. I'm going to squint and scroll. Then, is it here? Where is it? Got it. Boom. Okay, but now I have to do this screen share thing. I know I make funny faces. The planet. So this painting is called Birth of the Flying Rainbow Lasagna. And it might be a little hard to see the details on your screen, but where I'm gesturing with my cursor, there's little tiny dots on the painting that show Earth's magnetosphere, which is also toroidal in shape. And it shows in this painting the toroidal shape splitting apart or transforming to reveal a new shape inside, and the new shape is the flying rainbow lasagna. So this is a transformation from having a toroidal-shaped energy field, time field, consciousness field around you, into having a flying rainbow lasagna-shaped consciousness field around you. And this transformation is the healing and rectification of our planet that was so horribly degraded and traumatized in the invasion, and that we are like little cells living on that body that was horribly injured. And we've been trying to heal ourselves and heal the body. Let me go back to you guys. So this is what is happening on our planet right now, not north-south to south-north. And yes, this very much involves interactions with the sun and the stars. What's that giant pepperoni pizza in the background there? No, that's not a pepperoni pizza. That's my version of how I paint the sun. So those are supposed to be whatever, solar flares. So that's the sun and the earth working together. And this is also where my name is referenced, the aurora. The aurora is the phenomenon that you see in the sky from Earth's magnetic field interacting with solar particles. And so this is what is happening, the flying rainbow lasagna, the connection of Earth to sun, inside to outside, your inner realm of thoughts and ideas and feelings being externally manifested, spirit and matter coming together. Or instead of spirit, say consciousness or energy. What if we no longer have the equation E equals mc squared? What if it's E plus mc squared equals energy plus matter equals flying rainbow lasagna, a new state of matter. So let me go back and read all of your wonderful comments over here. Okay. Oh, okay, so wait. Good questions are coming in. Okay, hold on a second. And I know I'm making squinty scrolly faces. Okay, oh, there, I missed a lot of things. Serdar, hello, good to see you. Says, questions. How to stop the legal ways of Satan's enter our dimension. He says, I can't get out the sin that universe headed me in. At this very moment we are shifting. I accidentally opened the doors from other dimension. Karma is unfair to me. So, okay, I will talk about how to stop these satanic beings. So in this class, I sometimes refer to them as occupiers of the interstices. They are supernatural consciousness residues that reside on the membrane of time, the membrane of death. And that membrane is part of our own DNA code. Please do not tear off your face in distress when you find out that demons actually exist within your own DNA code. Again, I usually save this information for later in the class, not the intro, because I don't just want to throw something out blithely, like just as a piece of information, without understanding that it has an emotional impact. Like that's something that you guys got to start to understand about me. I'm like giving lots of information, like a library. I'm like, here, I'm the librarian, have information, but I don't necessarily think like, how is that going to feel in their tummy when they eat all of that lasagna? Like, is that going to throw them for a loop? So now I am much more cognizant of, if I just throw something out casually, that there might be emotional repercussions of what I say. So, that's why I'm super responsible in the way that I present all of this. The pesky occupiers of the interstices live on a membrane that is like the meniscus. The meniscus is the surface tension of water. It's a surface tension that exists between layers of density. More dense on this side, less dense on this side, and here's the meniscus. And they just kind of live there. Like those guys in Superman 2 that are floating on the album cover. We're stuck, the evil guys. How come they keep screwing with, I wanted to say, a less family-friendly word? How can they keep effing with us? We're the living beings in the time field. How come those membrane dwellers, we could call them pesky occupiers of the interstices, or pooties, as Pedro, our wonderful colleague here, has named them, or demons. And demons actually is kind of an appropriate word, because in software programming, there's something that you can run that's a daemon. And it's like a software program that can go through different other platforms. And that's what these are. These are consciousness residues that are running like echoes or hacks or software programs through your DNA. And so the answer is, how do you unhack your system? So this is also like Windows 10. It's not just hackers like evil hackers in Lithuania or Russia that are trying to take control of your computer. It's also software companies that you allow access to. Windows 10. When you download that on your computer, you say, yes, Microsoft, read my emails. Microsoft, do automatic updates. Microsoft, take control of my camera. Like, you give a lot of access to Microsoft, and that's just in the agreement. And then there's all the backdoor stuff that Microsoft does. Like, yeah, they can look into your computer and change files and remove files and do whatever they want to do with their files. So the real answer is, to Serdar, how to stop the satanic invasion: language. Language. We download language as part of getting our consciousness infrastructure here when you first come here. So I'm a walk-in. I did that when I first came here in adulthood. For other people, you do it when you're like between age 1 and 4 or 5, usually. If you don't talk by the time you're 6, people think like there's something wrong with your brain. And that's the issue. Like, if you don't download language, you can have a perfectly great brain, but you're not able to communicate or interface with the other people that are here. So you have to download OS human, operating system human, the platform, the software consciousness platform that you use. Then you download language, which is the app, where you then can communicate. Mommy, daddy, like, I'm hungry, my diaper is poopy, I need something. And this is a survival mechanism. You have to do it. But the challenge is, we give children language, like language thought structure, language communication structure. So yeah, there's 2 forms of language. There's language person to person, but then there's language intrapersonal, inside your own brain. So like, you come here, you don't think with language. Then you are taught by mommy and daddy and everyone else. You got to think with language if you're going to talk to us and get your diaper changed around here. But that thinking with language is downloading Windows 10, is what makes you vulnerable to the original beings who programmed language, who are not your friends. I'm saying this in a very nice way, and I'm smiling and laughing about it, but it's a really horrible thing. These are the invaders that came to this planet, and they purported to be gods. I am God. I'm changing your DNA so that when you hear my voice, you think I'm God, and I'm giving you language, and I'm genetically modifying you, and I'm effing with you to diminish you. And at every time I F with you to diminish you, I'm telling you, I'm your God, love me, which is like the most sociopathic thing to do in the world, and which is why people on this planet have trust issues, okay? Like, guys, I get it. I understand why you have trust issues. And when I'm trying to come here, give you lasagna, you're all skeptical, like, what's that? What's that? Because I understand you've been effed with and harmed. Let me drink water. So the answer has to do with language. How do you stop the demons from running in your DNA program? How do you unhack your software program? It has to do with language. So a part of the teaching of this class has to do with meditation and mindfulness. I'm not a meditation teacher, just like I'm not a body healer. There are people who are total experts at like how to do acupuncture, how to heal your body. I'm new to having a body. I'm still in the process of healing my body. I don't tell anyone else or touch anybody else's body or tell you what you need to do for your body. I don't tell people what to do with their food intake or whatever like that. And also, like with meditation, I have figured out what works for me. So this is in terms of turning off the talking mind. I do long walks with my dog, or like rhythmic exercises, like things like, where you don't have to think. Like you might be like on a machine at the gym or whatever. Like it's different when you have to, be more aware of your senses. And music, and also artwork. And the artwork is really the primary way that I use to get out of my mind, to not be satanically hacked while I'm doing my life. Because I don't have to think, pick up the paintbrush, dip it in red paint, put it on the paint. Like I don't have to think that way. I just don't go in my flow. So whatever is your natural flow state, go into your natural flow state. And if you require some guidance, like some meditation formalism, like chanting a mantra or having some focus on your breath or whatever, I would encourage you to look into that. But I'm not an expert at that. So I'm also like, if you're new to this and you're just learning about me as a teacher, I'm very honest. Like some things I'm a total expert at. Flying rainbow lasagna, this and harmonics, like this I really know about. There are things that I'm not an expert at, and some things that are also extremely culturally relevant, like contextually culturally relevant. And I'm a cultural outsider, so I will say, please refer to an expert on that. So, but the answer is getting out of language. When you get out of language and you get into flow or bliss state, that is your true mind, that is how you start to avoid getting hacked. And it's kind of like Harry Potter occlumency, like when you close down your mind to the evil beings that are trying to read your mind. So a lot of it has to do with, there's also the Merkaba for shielding. There's different techniques for it, but it basically has to do with taking control of your DNA so that no one else is acting in you or through you without your full consent. And so that's the best I can speak to on that question. And you said karma is unfair to me. So what I want to speak to on that, the word karma and the concept of karma as it is presently being expressed on Earth's surface is distorted. There is a cosmic law that says what you send out comes back to you instantaneously and amplified. The word karma is distorted in terms of how it is used to justify the extreme rigidity of the Hindu caste system and some of the social and economic iniquities of the Far East. So it is the idea that you did something bad in a past life, and that is why you are born deformed or profoundly impoverished or even a woman, and that if you want to have an elevated birth in your next life, things might be good for you, but in this life you are SHIT, out of luck, SOL, you're out of luck. So karma as it is presented here on this world is a distorted or bogus concept. However, the idea of what you send out is reflected back to you is a real concept, but it's being minorly delayed here in this realm. And that's part of what I am here to fix and rectify, because we all become agents of cosmic justice. And so we will have this fair reflection of justice. You got to be a sheriff. You got to be the deputy. Sorry, the sheriff has just deputized you. You are now avatars of cosmic justice. And you do that by creating an effective Merkaba shield and enforcing cosmic laws with your own energy presence. We'll get into that too. Red says a different day once would be cool. Okay, that's Red's vote for what I'm going to do about my electrical issue next week. Pedro says we could do a review of the homework and questions on another day and skip the lesson for the next Thursday. Pedro votes for a skip. I vote for a skip too, just because we literally are starting the semester, and I think it would be very confusing if I started and then did a different day and then started again. And Sardar is saying that he wants his good karma. I completely vote for everyone to get everything that is coming to them instantaneously. I'd be a very happy person if that happened instantaneously. Like, turn on the light switch. And Pedro is saying the lasagna can unstuck you. So I really appreciate that. And what I would say is, like, I never make promises or claims. The flying rainbow lasagna can be used to profoundly heal and rectify your individual life and your connection to the time field. And that's why I'm here. I want the time field to be healed. I want all of us to live in a perfectly structured harmonic reality. That's what heaven is. But heaven does not require death. Another big teaching in this class, you don't have to die to go to heaven. We're supposed to stay alive and create heaven in a embodied form. So another thing, I know I'm just throwing this out there casually, but that's another big one. Okay, Miniman says, excellent question. How exactly should I paint the homework? So now let's do housekeeping. Enrolled students, you're going to do the homework. Here's what you will need. So a lot of this has to do with drawing circles. So you will need, first of all, a piece of paper or a pad to draw upon. And I find it easier to work in a larger, size, because you're going to need to use a ruler. So, whatever, it's just easier if the ruler won't hit against the little binder part and the little squiggly parts where everything attaches. You will need a ruler or a straight edge, but you're going to have to measure, and you're going to have to measure into little tiny increments. So you want to get one that has little tiny increments. And I'm in America, and I'm working with the sacred inch. if you are in a different continent and you want to work with centimeters, you can do so. I'm totally fine with that. So I don't use a calculator to do this, but you might want to use a calculator because it will involve some math, but we'll figure it on out. So the other thing is a protractor. Wait, let me get it. Let me get it. Hold on a second. I should have been prepared. Oh, I should have had this right next to me. Okay. What is a protractor? This is a protractor, and this is a little drawing tool that you can use to make circles of various different sizes. Like I can adjust it with this central wheel. So in order to draw my paintings, I use circle templates. Hold on a second. Let me show you everything. Oh, I should have had this all prepared. Hold on. I use a protractor to draw little tiny circles. I use circle templates like this. This is these are usually in art supply stores, and I got little templates that are like this. This came from quilting supply stores. So you don't have to be so fancy. I don't want you to be burdened by having to go out and buy stuff, but you need drawing tools in order to be able to do this homework. So circle templates really help. However, you can do it with just a protractor, and you will need to have a pencil that has a really fine point or a really fine point marker. And you will also need either colored pencils of the 7 colors of the rainbow or some kind of colored marker, something that you can use to color the lines or make them colored. So what or you can do it in paint. So someone's going to ask, I know someone's going to ask, Aurora, can I do this digitally? And that's like if I was teaching a little kid their ABCs and they're like, can I type it on a keyboard? Like, can I type it on a typewriter? Like, you are not learning your letters if you are typing it on a typewriter. So I would really encourage everyone to be the computer and be the calculator as much as possible. So, and also work in a size that is comfortable. So mostly my explorations, I'm working with, and this is again, completely arbitrary and ethnocentric that I chose. I'm gonna grab my template here. Wait. Arbitrarily chose a 12-inch circle as my starting point. You know, like, because I'm working with inches, that is the standard unit of measure where I live. I chose 12 inches because I'm comfortable with this. I could find templates in this, and also it divides up pretty well into these different increments. But oh my goodness, you can choose whatever size you want to. But here's the deal. Whatever size you want to work with, like if you choose whatever, 47.2 inches, then you're going to have to draw a drawing that is 47.2 inches, and then you're going to somehow have to take a picture of that and in a format that I can look at and send it to me on the computer for the homework. So this is how we're going to do it. So I give you your assignment of what you're supposed to draw. You draw it, but I'm not going to give you the measurements. You're going to have to figure it out. So you might start with a 10-centimeter circle, or you might start with a 12-inch circle, or you can use whatever units of inch you want, whatever units of measurement you want. Yes, okay, so you will, I think I got everything, all the things that you will need. I'm just reading through Serdar. He was sharing something personally, so I didn't think that I will read all of that to you. Yeah. But Serdar is saying, one of the things he says, I want to be a normal human. They call me alien in my class. So I think that is a very good segue. You know, I'm a galactic walk-in and a stranger in a strange land and very much a fish out of water or a cultural outsider. And I laugh at it. However, it's a real challenge to be here. It's a challenge to be here for the people that were born here in the regular way. It's like if you moved to France. I moved to this place, to this planet. I moved to this body. And it's very challenging to be here. Like there's a lot of heaviness, there's a lot of distortion, there's a lot of trauma, there's a lot of abuse. So it's hard for the inhabitants to be here. There's not a lot of love and support amongst the inhabitants that are here. It's very difficult also for outsiders who come here, especially because my value system and my expectation is so very different than what I joke about the barbarian value system as it is expressed on this planet here. So yeah, it's a very hard road. It's a hard road because this is like, people don't help each other out here. And they're like cannibals and they try to eat each other. So I recognize that very much. And so, yeah, there are a lot of different, like if you consider yourself a star seed, I'm quoting that, however you want to describe yourself. Like I came here 18 years ago. You might have come here like in your mother's belly. Like it depends. That's the difference, I think. Wait. So yeah, this is a good point to make. I'm an immigrant, like a recent immigrant, and I still have the customs of my old place and I still speak with a foreign accent. However, there are many people who came here from a galactic place generations ago, and integrated. And a lot of them are in the indigenous communities, like, they're not necessarily very visible. And, then there are people that consider themselves a starseed, and they are in the regular Western world. Yeah, you never have to compare your journey to others. Like, all of these journeys are sacred journeys. But it's very challenging to be here. So I understand that. But you might find some support by connecting to other starseed groups or other people that consider themselves to be a starseed or a person who is awakening to their galactic heritage, and recognizing that they are melded with Earth and the Earth culture. And that I really feel that that is part of the mission of being here. I know my mission. I will not dictate anyone else's mission to them, but I know my mission. Like, this is not a pleasure cruise. Like, things are very messed up down here. You know what I'm talking about. So that is our challenge of being here, but it gets better by participating. That is one quote that I really appreciate. I think it was Pete Seeger. He said, yeah, things don't get better because you drop out, like you drop out of society. Things get better because you stay, you tune in, and you actually do stuff. And I really believe that. That is my approach to life. So that is why I'm here in this body. So let me read a few more things. Ines says, we all have to visualize that 5G will not be implemented the way they want to destroy our minds. Thank you. Ines, thank you so much for getting me back on track. So, because I know I'm very circular in the loops that I'm talking about here. Ines asked me about 5G. So blah, blah, blah. Flying Rainbow Lasagna. This is like a song that we play with our DNA. 5G wants to make our DNA play this song. Horrible, horrible music. What we need to do is get the band together before they turn on 5G. So it's not like I have some sense of urgency, like, oh my God, we have to do this class. It's our last semester ever. Like, no, that's not what I envision. I'm not a fearmonger, and I don't envision personal or planetary eschaton. I mean, you don't have to die to go to heaven. You don't have to have the planet explode to go to heaven. However, we need to transform right now. This shape is the representation of metamorphosis. Shape change. You are changing your shape from this to this. The bus is leaving. There is no more time for waiting around. We are not waiting around at the bus station anymore. So matter, material body, matter comes from the same root word, mother. Mother, like we're gestating in the womb. We're gestating in the womb of the material world, but you don't live in the womb for your whole life. You are in there for 9 months, then you got to get out of the womb. And this is the whole point. I showed you that painting called Birth of the Flying Rainbow Lasagna. Everybody on this planet, they're all planning for like, oh yeah, I'm in my 9 months of being here in the womb. And in another month, I'll have this much more amniotic fluid. And in 12 more months, I'll have this much more amniotic fluid. Like, you ain't going to be in the womb anymore. You're not going to be encased in matter anymore. Okay. You are going to transform and metamorphosize. So this metamorphosis needs to happen now. There's no polite way for me to say this. Like, you need to get up off the couch. The bus is leaving now, because the bus that is leaving is this bus of consciousness. If you stay sitting on the couch, you're going to get 5G fried. That is not a good thing. So just on a cellular level, we're talking about, the greater incidence of disease. But I'm talking about on a consciousness level, that 5G is the modern, and I'm like emphasizing here, 5G is the modern equivalent of the mind control rays that were turned on by an artificial Merkaba in ancient Atlantis that caused the wibbly wobbly destabilization effect and huge cataclysm and huge amnesia. We're not going to have the same thing happen. We're not going to have the same, endless repetition of the same experience. First of all, because I'm here, Flying Rainbow Lasagna, and many other people's efforts as well, but also because we get to have the corrective experience. It's like that movie, The Karate Kid. First, that kid got beat up at school. Then he learned karate. Then he didn't get beat up again. So this is what happened with our planet. First, our planet got invaded. That was not very much fun, but we have been doing our karate exercises with our sensei teacher, and we're really good now. And this isn't going to happen again. So this is on the topic of 5G. What's going to happen? First of all, don't sit on the couch and be like, I'm sure everyone else has it all figured out. Don't abrogate your responsibility. Not abrogate. Don't abdicate. Sorry if my brain doesn't always touch my mouth. Don't say, it ain't my fault, it ain't my job, somebody else will handle it. Maybe President Trump will handle it. Maybe some other freedom fighter will handle it. Maybe some truther on YouTube will handle it. Like, you're not supposed to be that way. You're supposed to be like, wait, maybe I'm supposed to be the hero. Like, think about every great movie or book that you've ever been inspired by. Like, a common person becomes the hero. You know what I'm talking about? Like, rise to the challenge. Be like, this is effed up. I'm not going to let this happen. So what do? You work with the matter that you own. So look, guys, I don't actually technically own my shirt. I don't own my couch. I don't own my lamp. I don't own these things. They are not my molecules. I own my body. I own my eyeballs. I own my hair. These are my molecules. And I'm allowed to do what I want to do with my molecules. I flying rainbow lasagna with my molecules. So wait. So the answer is 5G, impending consciousness disaster. Impending consciousness disaster if you do not learn how to do a cohesive dance with your own frequency. That's like, I'm playing my music very intentionally. That's what you need to do with the cells of your body, with your mind, with your flight through time. You have to be like, my cells are staying healthy. I'm not being affected by this. And we also have to work together in mind concert in order to change and transform reality. So it's not just a question of like putting on some kind of a shield and armor, be like, I'm just going to stay super strong and they can keep on blasting me with microwave radiation. No, what we're supposed to do is connect together like a giant neurology with the stars and completely transform the entire landscape. Big metamorphosis, big birth. In the same way that there was a light switch catastrophe, like one day everything got crashed down in Atlantis, you can have the corrective experience. One day you turn on the light switch, consciousness raises, you turn on the light switch, metamorphosis and rectification. One day you get back into a heavenly state. And I plant that seed, not as a prediction of the future, but as an expectation, because everybody expects that you can have one day of destruction and cataclysm and then everything is gone. Why not imagine the equal opposite, which would be one day where there's massive instantaneous healing and that you have a completely new set of opportunities after that moment. Okay. Good comment from Patricia. Says, don't worry, it can't be. Love is winning. Love is winning, definitely. So wait, let me get to Miniman. When I wake up in the morning, I get bombarded with thoughts, mostly negative. Why is this happening? How can I handle this? Thank you. Yeah, so I understand. The bombardment of thoughts comes in through software vulnerabilities and hacks. So the various different things you can do are go to states of mindfulness, even though I know that you already have mastered that. And then the other things are, we're going to learn this in the class, Merkaba for shielding, genetic encryption, and then flying rainbow lasagna. And flying rainbow lasagna, these are innovations. So it's kind of like, let's say we have 3 notes. And if you have an enemy and the enemy is like, well, I know that you're going to play this note. You start to play this note. Then I know that your next 2 notes are going to be, right? So if they want to screw with you, they'll just go right here and right here because they know that's what's coming next. So what about if you flying rainbow lasagna? You start off with this note, but then instead of playing the predictable next note, you play a different note, and then a completely different note, and you've played a completely different chord and they don't know what the heck you're doing. This is how you confound those beings. So you will figure out your own practice. I have one student, Karine, she's in this class. I don't know if she'll tune in for this semester. She was here last semester. But what she talked about is almost like a turning away, a going slightly askew. Like if you can imagine that there are these things that are kind of like shooting at you or projecting at you like a reality. Like here's the reality where you get sick, and she would just kind of turn slightly askew. She's like, no, I don't want to get sick. And then here's another one, another unlikely, undesired premise being projected on her. She's like, no, I don't really like that premise. I'm just going to go slightly askew. So that's what it is a time jumping. So you'll become adept. You will figure it out. And this is just the intro class. We'll get there. I can't teach the whole symphony in one moment. Carla says, can you see our auras over the internet in this class? So I do perceive people. However, I'm finding it much easier to perceive people when I connect with them physically. And I don't do aura readings. Like if someone said to me, Aurora, what color is my aura? Or health readings or anything, like if they want me to know, if they have toenail fungus or kidney disease, like that is not what I do and it's not my job. So there are wonderful people that do that type of work, but it is not for me. So when I meet people in person, I find it's much easier to establish that love connection. And then it feels like my mind is Bluetooth connected to them, and it's easier to maintain the telepathic connection. I feel very telepathically connected to a lot of the people that are in this class and have been here for a long time. It helps me when I can see your face or when people send me a picture, because it's harder when it's just an abstract icon or whatever. But most people in this class I've seen or been able to connect with them. And it's like having a signature, like a sense of who that person is and who is there, who is talking and listening. And a large portion of this class is taught telepathically. So there's this part that is the flapping of the moving mouth parts, but then there's a big part, hello, good to see you, good to see your face. Exactly. It helps a lot, Darla. And you too, Patricia. Absolutely. Yes. And because you guys see my face all the time. So you have a very strong sense of who I am and what my mannerisms are like. So it helps to kind of like sense who the person is out there if it's not just a word on the screen. Oh my goodness. Yes. And we enjoy lightheartedness and sense of humor too. So it's also not that weird to connect in dreaming. I've had a lot of students who are like, hey, like I dreamed about you last night. You were teaching me stuff in dream class. I'm like, yes, we have dream class. That is normal. And that, so just, I'm telling you that might be something. And also like, it's all consensual. So if you don't want telepathic contact or dream class, like please just put up a do not disturb sign, make it very clear, because I also presume some interest of people who are tuned into this class, like that you're going to want to get all the teaching, that is, you're going to want to get all the nutrition of all the lasagna. So wait, there's lots more comments. Let me just speak to all these comments. Jeffrey says, can one change their past along the trajectory of time with flying rainbow lasagna? Yes. Hello, welcome to the class. Thank you for your excellent question. The answer is yes. And this is one of the reasons why you would personally want to put the energy into learning what is flying rainbow lasagna and how to do it in your own life. Because when you heal the present moment, it sends a reverberation like a ripple backwards into time and forwards into the possibilities of the future, and is profoundly transformative for the entire time field. Okay, Dominic says, you need to see the separation between you and your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. I think that is an excellent technique for getting out of the hack. That's a big one. We teach children how to have verbalized minds, but then we also teach them to identify with those verbalized minds when those verbalized minds are inherently distorted. So I think a big part of it is learning not to identify with your distortions. Don't identify with your demons. Say like, those are all my personal inner tendencies. Like, no, those are a bunch of demonic overlays that are like glitches. You need to get rid of the glitches. Serdar says, if you change the way you think, the past changes also. That's correct. You got it, man. Okay. Brandon, good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. Brandon says, feelings and thoughts are not actually words, only when they are to be expressed. So I think Brandon's making the point about having like a concept and then having the word package. Like you get the birthday present, you put the birthday present in a box that you give to someone. So our boxes are shaped like English phonetic characters, like English sonic symbols, English literal symbols. So that is how we share concepts with one another. But what I'm used to in my world is, you know, the Aurora world of higher dimensional reality, it's telepathy. So telepathy is sharing mental food directly. You don't have to use word packages. You just give someone the birthday present. You don't have to put it in a box. So it's a very different, much more direct experience. So it's that putting in a box that squashes the concept sometimes or makes them not effective. Patricia's saying karma equals cause and effect. You got it. That's exactly right. I know I'm being slow on the comments. I'm just getting down it. Norman says, I came in the middle. Is there access to the whole recording I can get? Yes, my friend Norman, there will be access. As soon as I'm done here, I will upload the archive as I always do. And I send out the archive to everyone who's in the class. And I put it on the, okay. Okay, so Eleanor is also voting for a skip. If anyone else, speak now or forever hold your peace. No, I'm very democratic. Dominic says the past has happened. We can only affect the present moment, but by rethinking the situation, you are repeating it and keeping it alive. Your experience is either in your mind or in the world. Most numb themselves of the world and choose the mind. So what I would say is, if this is like event here, and this is the opportunities of the past spreading backwards, and then here's the timeline of the future going forward. If you heal in this moment now, and this is like you got in a car accident here, right? But you heal in this moment now so profoundly that it's as if you were never in that car accident. What your past becomes is this past, different past, no car accident over here. So that is how I would say it is not like erasing the past. It is not like saying that thing never happened, I erase it out of existence. That thing happened, but to a different version of you that you have now aligned with and this is big because we're going to do this as a planet. I've gone through extensive talking on this, presentation here about we have a traumatized planet. How do we heal this planet? We don't erase the past. We heal this present moment now. And in so doing, it sends a reverberation backwards in time so that we're not on the car accident timeline. We're on we never got in a car accident timeline. I know it's big, it's conceptual. So all of this flying through space, it is harder than getting a metal clank spaceship. You got to be super smart. It is harder to fly through space in this way. Thank you. Norman is asking, where do I sign up for the course? Let me drink water and I'll tell you. So for anyone who's accessing this as the archive, I always include the enrollment links in the YouTube description. For anyone who's watching this right at this moment, the easiest thing to do is go to my website. It's flyingrainbowlasagna.com, and I spell lasagna Lasagne. E at the end, not A at the end. I can't be weird enough, right? I know. So if you go to my webpage, then you will see there's a thing, it's lessons for full spectrum humans. And when you click on that, that will take you to the enrollment links. There are 2 different ways to enroll. And I'm not trying to be like a commercial here or whatever, but I like to make it accessible to people. So you can do monthly enrollment, that's at Patreon at $25 a month, or you can do just paying the tuition on Teachable, you know, as like one fee in the beginning. And if you do not have money for tuition, that is okay. You can contact me for a scholarship. And this is like evidence of my value system. And also, like, we don't have time to wait. No more sitting on the couch. The bus is leaving. And also, like, some of my most wonderful students have been students that are here on tuition. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to be a quantum scientist. Like, you have to want to learn about this and want to participate. So yeah, some of the most wonderful music in this band has come out of people that didn't have money to buy an instrument. So I always make scholarships available. And I know that that is totally against the capitalistic profit motive where I'm supposed to squeeze you for every dime that I possibly can. Say, give me all the money. But that's not the way I work and do things. So yeah, so I have lots of different things that are available, and I would encourage you and invite you to enroll. Thank you very much for that. And I was like, if you're enrolled, then I will be doing that level of teaching for the, I will measure all of your work. Like that's how, so how are we doing homework? I give you an assignment, not this week, but when we actually start class for real. I think we're going to do skip next week and then start on the next week. When we do that, then I will review your work. You take a picture of it, and I will look at your stuff, and I'll measure it or ask for your measurements, and I'll tell you if you did it correctly or incorrectly. So because that's a lot of time and energy on my part, I will only be able to do that for the students who are actually enrolled, not for people that are just watching the YouTube videos as unenrolled students. And I love the people that watch the videos as unenrolled students, because that's good. Like, eat a bite of lasagna, that's fantastic. But the people that are eating the whole entree, I will definitely be able to focus the energy on your work. So Daniela says, skip works for me too, more to look forward to. Cool, so it looks like we're skipping. Aurora says, Sarah Dara says, Aurora, how do you get aligned with your soul? What's the trick? So this is a refinery of consciousness. I will get into that in subsequent lessons, but that's the answer, that you learn how to navigate the time field. This is a refinery of consciousness. You learn how to be on the timelines that you wish to be on. So that's also like saying, how do I know what are the right notes to play in the symphony? And my answer to you is, you learn to read music. This is music. This is music. You learn to read the music. You learn to awaken your higher faculties, see through time, read the music, and you will know what to do and say. Patricia says, I've never used a protractor. That is okay. This is an awesome time to learn. So protractors have a skinny end. You're totally ready. That's so great. Awesome. And then they also have the place where you either have a pencil lead, or some of them have a little attachment that you can put a pen into it. And so what you have to do is you have to think in half diameters. Like if I want to draw a circle that is 2 inches in diameter, I have to make my protractor 1 inch wide, because this is going to be in the middle. This goes in the middle, and the whole, well, let's hold it properly. This goes in the middle, and the whole entire thing spins around. So when you're working with a protractor, it can also be helpful to like work on a table or something that your little pointy part can go into. Like, don't try to do this on a carpeting. This is not going to work for you. You need a proper workspace. Yes. So, and we'll get into the exact particulars when I do lesson 1. Red says circle templates are a great idea. He was just about to ask if he could use Adobe Illustrator. So, like you can do whatever you want in terms of applying yourself to this class. I think that you will get more embodiment, more like deep nourishment if you draw physically. And that, like, I think is just like a good way of learning. But if you would like to do it on the computer, you can, but I'm telling you, like, you ain't getting all the nutrition that you possibly could. Sardar says, could you please say how you get aligned with your soul? Yes, you will learn how to read music. That is a more extensive conversation for another day. Dominic says, can't wait to do the math. Good, the calculator in your head. Well, but you'll do the math visually. But I want you to be able to do the math in the way that you feel comfortable, but I'll show you how I do the math in order to fit this all together. Miniman says, what type of paper to use, what type of paint and brush. So you can, I would say, okay, for this, get a simple, like a sketchbook would work. So if you're going to buy an actual sketchbook for this, get one that's a decent size, like, whatever, do 12 by 18 inches or something like that. And get one that says paper that is good for all media, or all media sketch pad or something like that. That means that you can draw on it with pencil, write on it with markers, and also do a little bit of light watercolor. So one of the most effective ways that I do in my notebook is I might do an indelible line with marker and then do a watercolor on top of that line. So if you have like a black India ink indelible marker that has a fine point, you can use that to draw your lines very perfectly with your circle templates or with your protractor, and then you can go over that with either colored pencil. And there's two different types of colored pencils. We're in art school here. There's colored pencil that is kind of like a chalky crayon, and it does not react to water. But then there's watercolor colored pencils. If you want to get fancy, you can get those, and you can draw a line or sketch and then put water on top of it, and it will kind of turn into watery, whatever solution. It'll bleed on the paper. Or you can just get a small thing of watercolors. And that's another, like if you want to actually do this with a brush and with paint, you can do it in that way. But do what is comfortable for you. Like I said, you can do it with just markers, you can do it with just colored pencils, or you can do it with a brush and paint, whatever is the way that is most comfortable to you. So if you're going to do it with paint or something that's water, get a sketch pad that says like all media. Because otherwise, if you get it, the paper is too skinny, too like thin, and it wrinkles up and it does not feel good when you put water on it. Red says 210 is the standard for the one if you're dividing by single intervals up to 7. Oh, very nice. So if you want to start off with a circle that is 210 inches, you can do that, or 210 centimeters. But then you're going to have to take a very, very wide shot on your camera to take a picture of that if you want me to check your work. You might have to send me your measurements. Danielle says, will you please recap the drawing tools list on email? Yes. Thank you. I will absolutely send that out to the entire class of what you will need, because I also understand that not everybody, will probably watch or receive this introduction. Serdar is saying that you came into this dimension 3 years ago. Hello and welcome. I know it's a challenge to get up to speed, so yes, that's why walk-ins welcome, like we help each other out here. Patricia says star seed equals hybrid human plus ET. I think you're right on that. And I think that's a very good description. And so it depends on when that star energy was kind of injected on into the human lineage. So there are some that are like from thousands of years ago, and they've really integrated into cultures and even into mythology and into indigenous people. And then there are some that came a couple of years ago, and then there's some that came a couple of generations ago. So really I don't want to compare people's stories, but just to honor everything. Like that's what it is. Like there's no right, there's no wrong. There's nothing that is better than anybody else. If you're an embodied human that has always been here and doesn't feel that you're a starseed, that is also beautiful. Like they're just in the same way that there are like trees that are native to this planet. Like they are the inhabitants of this planet. They're like, that is good. Everything is beautiful. It has its place, is necessary. It's not like there's one thing that's better than any other thing. Jeffrey says, how do we help our kids if they're too young for the Afro concept? That was to me privately, so I'm sorry if I'm saying this out loud. I hope it's okay, but I will just say this. Oh no, good. It wasn't meant to be private. You are not only never too young to do flying rainbow lasagna, but most of the little babies that are being born here at this time are specifically here to do flying rainbow lasagna. So think about this. I was telling you about how the hack is language. And we don't come here with language. We get language around usually like age 1 or 2, like when the babies first start talking. That first year of undifferentiated consciousness is a crucial year. It's not just because babies are learning how to wire their neurons or whatever. Babies are still totally connected to the divine and to the stellar network and to the realm of pure possibilities when they're that under, in the age of being so young and being nonverbal. So they are totally ready to do lasagna. And so, yeah, we just got to flip the expectation, because everyone thinks like, oh, babies are tiny, stupid, unformed, unwise beings, and they come here to learn everything. No, not the babies that are coming in right now. The babies that are coming in right now are they're like this. Earth is happening. Roll up my sleeves. Like, we got to get in there. We got a mission. We got to do it. So yeah, there's a lot of, and I've worked with a lot of wonderful, like I used to do professional babysitting and being a live-in nanny. And I worked with wonderful little tiny babies and children up to the age of 10 or 12. And yeah, all of them I could tell were very clearly on a mission. So yeah, they don't have to wait until they're age 18 to get activated and figure out what they're supposed to be here doing. They get to do it at a very young age. And I think that's also the vaccine agenda, is the agenda to poison their minds at a very young age and block out that consciousness so that they can't be effective warriors of bringing in light and intellect. Oh, Serdar says, Byron says, it's your soul, I see. So I think you're talking about Byron from the Harmony YouTube, because he's a lovely person. So send my regards, tell him I say hi. Ines says FLC can then be strong in the quantum field. So it is automatically in all our capacity to create. It is like the law of the 100th monkey. A certain mass will create a new evolutionary process for all naturally. She says FLC means FRL. You totally got it. I knew what you were talking about. Yes. So this is like saying, we were talking about playing our own music very cohesively, like very coherently. That's what laser light is. All the peaks and all the troughs fit together in laser light. It's focused. When we focus our mind, energy, chi, life force, passion together, and we play our song together, it's the song of life. It's the symphony of life. And we play it together as humans, embodied humans. And we also play with the planet, with the plants, with the animals, with the water, with the sky. We play with everything that is here. Not only 100th monkey, like that's the idea of the 100th human that wakes up like, wait, I got to wash the sand off of this sweet potato. This is great. Not just 100th human, 100th dolphin, 100th whale, 100th plankton, 100th molecule, 100th amoeba. This is everything on this planet waking up, and bring it further, because it's not just wake up on this planet, wake up on many other planets. Yeah, because the problem of infestation that we have on this planet is also a problem of infestation on many other planets. So the antidote that we create here with this, you could call it a synergy, you could call it harmonic, you could call it music. The music that we're making on this planet, they get to play it on other planets too, and it fixes everything that's gone wrong on their planet. So this is an incredibly valuable mission, an incredibly valuable opportunity. However difficult it is to be here as an embodied human, as a starseed, as a walk-in, whatever you are, is very challenging, and it is very rewarding. So that is, and my goal, what I'm here, I'm like, I want to give you the tools. Here's the tools. Here's all the information that I can possibly give to you. I call it like feeding you lasagna. I want to give you nourishment for the journey so that you can do this. And what I do not want to do is in any way be like, I have to tell you what to do. I want to carry you along. I want to make you be anything that you're not. Like, no, not that's the antithesis of what this is. So yeah, how I approach this in my life is like, I'm running my marathon, I'm doing my artwork, I'm doing my music. I teach other people about these concepts. I make them available to you. And then I want you to take them and apply it to your life, apply it to your body, apply it to your genetic code, apply it to your consciousness, apply it to your events. And of course, the more of us that do this, the more magical it becomes. You become a magical artist of reality. So when we are magical artists of reality, yes, of course, we can transcend 5G. And it's better when we all play our music together, because it all gets a lot louder when we play together. So I could just play my own music in my own garage. Like, I'm just playing my own music here, but we can have a whole symphony. And the symphony is really badass. It's wonderful. Ines says, sitting here in the bed already in Germany. Next time I switch the TV on. Okay. Patricia says, you appear in Ron's dreams all the time. We get your messages and your warnings of discipline. That is really good. I'm happy to hear that. So yeah, Patricia and Ron, I reach out to you all the time. That is good. That is good confirmation. Chloe says, will there be an email that is sent to students informing us of the homework assignment? You got a protractor already? Yes, I will send out an extensive email telling you what's going on. And I'll also talk about it in the actual video presentation of the class, so don't worry. We're going to be on it. Alvaroni says, skip next week. The day hour is great from Romania. Good, I'm happy to hear that, Alvaroni, and great to see you. Thank you for tuning in all the way from Romania. Oh yeah, Jeffrey is saying that feels like an explanation for the Mandela effect. Really good, because that's what's going on with Mandela effect. So too many people are willing to ascribe the Mandela effect to some external thing. Like, it's an AI thing, it's a particle collider, it's a hadron collider, it's CERN, it's scientists, it's something like that. I keep on trying to get people to understand, like, the Mandela effect is the evidence of your consciousness affecting reality. That it's you're the magic box, you're the computer making it happen, but everyone has to go through that journey of like learning, like not to ascribe your powers to something else that is outside of you, like you're actually doing it. Miniman says, I don't know what to draw for homework. Did not get that. Sorry. So Miniman and everyone else who's watching right now, don't be concerned. There's no homework for right now. This was just the intro class. The consensus was next week is June 20th. Happy summer solstice, everyone. Maybe all enjoy a beautiful, bountiful summertime season. but my electricity is going to be off because the electric company is going to do something with the wires in my neighborhood. So I can't do my regular broadcast next Thursday. So the consensus is we will take a week off, and then I will return the next Thursday for lesson 1 for real, where I will tell you what your homework is and what you need to draw, and you'll show it to me, and I'll give you feedback on lesson 2. And that's how we're going to start running the season, I want to say, the semester. Yeah, so that'll be perfect. So there's no drawing homework yet, but it'll come up soon. Yes. Eleanor, I'm reading what you wrote. The answer is yes. And I apologize that I didn't send it already. I should have sent it already. Thank you. I know I'm crazy busy. Thank you. And yeah, thank you guys for understanding. Minnie says, Minnie Man says, where do my thoughts come from? My brain, my consciousness, from someone somewhere else? Thank you. And what kind of paint and paper do I use for my artwork? Okay, the first question is easy. What kind of paint and paper do I use? So wait, where's my sketch pad? I don't know where my sketch pad is. Hold on a second. Let me get this. Oops, I'm sorry. I'm not prepared for class. Let me go look. I assure you, I am not a salesperson for the Strathmore Drawing Company, but this is what I have. Strathmore medium, this one is 18 by 24, and this one says natural white paper, ideal for dry media, suitable for pen and ink, and I do a little bit of light watercolor on it. It's called 400 series. And like, you know, if you buy drawing paper and it says acid free, like that's really the best thing. I mean, you might not think, oh, you're going to put it in a museum someday. You might not think, oh, I want, like, so wait, so basic burn art school, your basic story is if you get regular paper, it is full of acid, especially a lot of recycled paper has a lot of acid in it. It's cheap and that's good, but it means it will yellow over time. So if you're drawing something that you want to save over time, just buy something that says acid free, and it's not that much more expensive. And that way you can make sure that your drawings last and they don't degrade or whatever. And what type of paints do I use? I mix my own paints. So I do have like a little travel watercolor set that I use if I just want to do, you know, quick little drawings or whatever. But for paintings like this, I mix my own paints. And where's a little thing? I'm not a saleswoman for Guerra. Where's my, I'm looking for a example of my paint. Hold on a second. Oh, so sorry that I'm making you stand around while I am busy finding paint. So I get separate pigments from my media. You can't read that. Guerra. This is Guerra. They're at 510 East 13th Street in New York, New York. And they do have a website too. So this is like highly concentrated yellow. I can make 10,000 paintings of yellow with this. You use a couple of little drops and then you dilute it with the clear base, and I get a special clear base and I mix it in my own formula in order to be able to achieve these effects. So you don't have to get that extensive if you don't want to, but if you want to, you totally can. So my work style is usually to draw in pencil, draw on a piece of paper, do the sketch, do a light watercolor, figure out my drawing, and I do that so that I don't waste a canvas because canvas is expensive, or this is all on 1/8-inch plywood that I make myself. Then when I figure out what I'm going to do, then I will do a full-size drawing just to make sure that I got it right on paper, on the actual canvas. And then I will take the paper off and do the drawing actually on the thing. So I draw something many, many times in order to master it. And this is what I'm trying to get across to you guys as the class. Not that I want you to be exactly like me, but my learning process involves drawing something over and over. It's how I learned these things. It's how I embody them. And if you put me on a desert island right now with nothing but coconuts, I would still be able to draw these drawings because I have it inside of me. So that is what I want for you guys to have. It's like if you've memorized a song, you have it inside of you. You don't need something else to tell you what to play. So this is also like flight school. It's training for when you actually do your higher dimensional journeying, that you have all of these patterns contained within you. You can't bring a notebook to be like, wait, let me consult my notes to make sure that I'm going in the right direction. Like, it all has to be internalized because it's a mental journey. So that first question was easy. Paper, what kind of paint and paper? Second question is harder. Where do your thoughts come from? From your brain. They do come from your brain, but your brain is more like your fatty idea catcher. And thoughts exist external to your brain, and they fly through your fatty idea catcher. And the question is whether you give energy to them or don't give energy to them. So it's like they have come inside of you. Do you want to gestate that thought and give birth to it, or just be like, no, just pass on through, not really interested? Or they're like little subatomic particles that's coming through you. Do you want to give it an extra little spin? Do you want to give it more energy on its journey, or no energy on its journey? The no energy on its journey, I think, is probably the best approach. If it's a harmful thought that's coming to you, you can do cancellation waves. So that would be like this plus this equals cancellation wave. You know, an up plus a down equals a neutral. So if something is coming to you that is a thought that you don't want to think, that you don't want to be in reality, you can neutralize it. So that might be more of an advanced approach. And the thoughts that are coming to you, they are living beings. Thoughts are alive beings. So they live at large. They come to you to give birth through you, but they are alive beings. They're like consciousness, like babies that want to get born. Elena says, so happy to be with you. Thanks, Aurora. You're very welcome. Much love and appreciation. Off to the airport. Listen to the recording. Skip for next week. Good, good. Okay, so skip. Okay, we're skipping for next week. Norman, I'm confirming to you, yes, you can sign up for level 1. That is perfect. Richard says, oh my God, yes. The FRL is now in the collective morphic field. Hallelujah. That's why I'm here. That is totally why I'm here. Thank you. That is like, and so that's what I do. So I also say this is the analogy. If you have a super saturated solution, like if you're making candy, like you're making sugar candy, you take water and sugar and you melt it together until you have a super saturated solution. It looks like regular water, but it's not regular water. It's filled with sugar, but it hasn't crystallized yet. And then all it takes is one little tiny seed crystal that you drop into that super saturated solution, and the entire solution crystallizes because it was ready for that. It just needed that shape to organize itself around. That's what Flying Rainbow Lasagna is. It's the seed crystal that gets dropped into the supersaturated solution of human consciousness that is prepared for this moment right now. And this is the shape that all of the other crystallization starts to arrange itself around. So it's like, you know, I take credit for what I've done. And also this is a starting point. This is not like the pinnacle of the mountain at all. This is the doorway that is open, or the starting point, or the thing that, the tool that makes the artistry possible. And the artistry is something that is collective. And it is why, like, I'm really on this idea of collectivism, collaboration as opposed to competition. Why I offer scholarships, like why I do all of this, is because it is all about making beautiful music and working together as a symphony, not fighting for each other with barbarian values. Oh, Serdar, thank you for the love. Thank you very much. Jeffrey, catch up with you later. Thank you. We'll talk more about that, Serdar. Thank you very much. Al Varoni, count me in for the astral class. Thumbs up. Thank you so much. Yes, we will be connecting perhaps tonight. And also, it's not based in time. So even if I might send out my astral thought waves or my dream-based teachings at whatever, 7:59 p.m. California time, they might be waiting in your inbox for several hours before you actually get them. And also, they might come in a different flavor. Like I might send out an abstraction that is about bundling things together, and you might perceive it as a narrative structure that you're having a dream about, whatever, tying up pieces of corn or something like that. Like it doesn't, what matters is that the information comes through. It doesn't matter the flavor, but you're starting to get it. You're getting it. I understand, Sardar. It is a complex journey. Ines says, do I understand properly that this kind of drawing exercise will prepare us for more dimensional cognitive awareness, a precondition for mentally create and imagine FRL? I think it will absolutely help in your cognitive development. That's why I've created these drawing exercises. So they're not just like regular drawing of how to be an artist, like how to draw a bowl of fruit. It's like I want to get your neurology to be organized in this way so that you begin to see these things. And I think a lot of people are already intuiting these things. And I want to say, like, you know, you can play by ear. And I played music by ear for many years, and you can be really good and enjoy yourself a lot. And then I found it to be liberating when I learned how to read and understand sheet music. I'm not perfect. I don't pretend to be perfect, but I can understand the notes. And I didn't find that that diminished my artwork or my musicianship at all. It expanded it. So my goal in teaching other people about the shapes and the proportions and how to understand this music is not to make you less of an intuitive musician. You still get to play by ear, and that's a great talent, but now you also can read the notes too. So it's like the best, it's like expansion and greater degrees of freedom. Alvarez says, when I get aware of a black thought that I do not want manifested, I envelop all that in white light and let it go through without giving it any more energy. I think that's an effective tool. And I know that everybody has their own approach to this. So Chloe says, oh, snap, I want to astral travel. Will you teach that? So thank you for asking me about that. The reason why I don't have specific teachings about astral travel, out-of-body experience, and lucid dreaming is because I have challenges with those specific things. So people in this class, you know, I'm pretty open about this, have neurological damage. That's the result of brain trauma. That was what killed the previous occupant of this body. And some of the places in the brain that were damaged or disrupted are innately tied to how to do an out-of-body experience, how to do lucid dreaming. Like, it's a very particular area of the brain. So I've stated clearly, like, I'm still in the process of healing, and healing is real and healing is profound, and it's a journey. So I'm not completely there yet. So yeah, one day I expect to have those areas of my own higher faculties on board and, you know, functioning. And then I would be happy to teach other people everything that I know. But for right now, they're not on board and functional. And so I cannot say that I'm an expert or whatever. So if you want to learn about lucid dreaming, talk to somebody else, or out-of-body experiences, talk to somebody else. Yeah. Austin says, are you like the sole missionary of this Flying Rainbow Collective? Are there others from your collective on this planet at this time with similar teachings? Thank you for asking. That is wonderful. So let's say this. Let's say I am a representative or an envoy of my collective of consciousness. I'm not the only one that is here, but let's say I'm the first one that was able to Flying Rainbow Lasagna. This is a tough planet to get to. There's all these blockades, there's all these things that make it really hard to get here, to be effective, to heal the place, to help fix things up. So I'm the first one that Flying Rainbow Lasagna, and this opened a door for many more of my kind to be able to be here. So the answer is yes, there are others like me, but they're not exact carbon copies of me. They don't do Flying Rainbow Lasagna, although they utilize Flying Rainbow Lasagna in their own life. They have their own mission, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, my collective is a collective. And also, I'm sorry if that word package didn't make sense, but I don't know if you got the telepathy. Everyone that I'm connected to, and it's not in the future, but let's say it's in a time outside of time. That's what the Aurora Collective is. I'm a representative of it. I'm a big part of it. The ship is alive. It's a Flying Rainbow Lasagna ship of consciousness that's comprised of many, many individuals. And many of you are there. Like, that is why I'm here. You could think of it like going back in time to plant these seeds in your consciousness so that you would grow into mighty redwood trees that would then, in this future quote unquote time, but which is really a time out of time, that you would then be part of this collective. None of this is about soul harvesting. None of this is about taking away your freedom. None of this is about any of the fat assery that has gone on this planet. I'm not that at all. I have to distinguish myself from that. This is about offering you an opportunity. Like, you're inevitably supposed to be there. Boss is here. Boss is here. Oh my God, she's here. And she has a little toy. Oh my God. I think I'm going to take her for a little walk soon. Oh my God, this is super. Just everybody, just imprint on the signature of what it's like to hug a little dog who's wagging her tail so much, because this is how we get through this marathon. It's very challenging. Things are very difficult sometimes, but if you could just feel what this is like, we love it. We love it. So when I first got cheeky, I was like, oh, I hope that my students don't think that it's not serious enough because my dog is jumping up and wants to play. And everyone was like, oh, Cheeky, we love Cheeky. Oh my goodness. So now this is like the best part of the class. And look, she was just about on time, just about on time. She comes in, she says, hey, everybody, how's class going? She's super. She's super. We love Cheeky very much. And it's not an interruption at all, is what I'm trying to say. I was always worried. Oh no, I hope that it's not going to be an interruption. No, and I tell Cheeky, she's famous on the internet. Oh my goodness, 52 people know about you and love you on the internet. Oh, there you go. Cheeky, you just got hugs from everyone in the whole class. She loves you guys. Thank you. So, yes, thank you. Daniela's signing off. Oh, wait. On terms of my mission, the way that this works in coming here into the physicality, I had to be prepared to do my mission even if I didn't connect with anyone else who was on my team. It has to be that way. It's kind of like being a spy. You're going into enemy territory, you're going to parachute on it, and you have to have your SHIT together, regardless of whether you connect with any of the other people who parachuted on in. So yeah, there are many others who are also here as part of my collective, but they don't necessarily say that they're Flying Rainbow Lasagna, and their mission might be different. They might be healers or musicians or innovators or engineers or builders. Like there's all sorts of different things that are happening here, but everybody has to be able to do their own particular specialty, regardless of whether they ever connected with or talked with or got support from the other people. But we're supposed to connect with each other and support and help one another and inspire one another. So that's a big part of the journey too. For many years, I worked in obscurity, like playing my own guitar in my own garage, but it's now time for the band to come together. So it's time for all of us, lasagna. It's Team Lasagna. This Team Lasagna time. It is time. And I told you, you could feel it. It's wonderful. I feel your energy. That is so great. So yeah, and like, again, I just to distinguish myself from others, none of my agenda is at all about like, oh yeah, seeing how many people I can own and control in some maniacal way. No, it's not like that at all. This is like, join the symphony. Join the symphony, be in the band. That is what Team Lasagna is. Austin says, so once another being from this collective comes in and matures, assuming they're birthed, will they be as cognizant of their extra dimensional connections as you and similarly absolutely sure of their mission and purpose for being here? That's a really good question. I really can't dictate that or answer what other people's journeys would be like. Some people might know what the F they're doing. Some people might not know or be clear on what they're doing. So the awakening process is unique to each individual, and I would not dictate and say it's a one-size-fits-all off-the-rack suit. It's not. It's unique to each person. And my journey as Flying Rainbow Lasagna is so not off the rack. It's totally a bizarre shaped garment that has never been made before. So we're in uncharted territory already is what I'm trying to say. We're already breaking new ground. So yeah, and I don't pretend to know what is, but the answer is anything is possible. Anything is possible. Flying Rainbow Lasagna makes anything possible. Genia says, first of all, Genia, good to see you. Says, I was pleasantly surprised to receive the email invitation because I registered for the level 1 for last semester, but will be able to continue with what this semester has to offer, even though you haven't officially registered. You were going to register for level 2. So yeah, so good. If you want to, and you're ready, register for level 2. Here's how this class works. Once you enroll or register, you're in the class. You don't have to keep on paying more and more and more tuition just so that you can continue to learn and participate. There is level 1 and level 2. So if you want to access all of the homework lessons, then, take care of tuition, or if you're on a scholarship, just contact me and I'll give you the logins. So I want to make sure that everybody has access to everything that they're hungry for. However, I'm sorry if I'm losing my train of thought, but that's one of the things I wanted to say. Like, if you do the class, if you are on a scholarship, if you do Teachable, or if you do Patreon, even if you just pay Patreon for 1 month, like you're in the class. So unless you specifically come to me and say, Aurora, please take me off your list. Like, I don't want to receive these emails anymore. I will continue to invite you to be in the Zoom webinars, and I will continue to send you the archives, because that is how I run this. Because I understand, first of all, people's lives sometimes get away from them. You enroll in a class, but then life happens, or your family or whatever, and you might not have a chance to focus the entire time. And also, the way that I learn is through repetition. So if someone plays like, okay, here's a song, be like, okay, I learned it. Like, no, I didn't learn that song. Like, I just heard that song for 2 seconds. I have to go over a song many, many, many times to learn. So I think that other people probably also learn through repetition. You are encouraged, invited, and welcome to repeat the semester. There's level 1, there's level 2, and even if you're an expert, come back and share your expertise. This is what I say. It's like a one-room schoolhouse. So there are some people who have they're like graduate students, but they continue to come back because they have good insight. They share, and they always like to do something new and different every semester. So the different thing this semester is actual drawing homework. So yeah, I joke like it's the mafia. Like, once you get into the mafia, you can't get out of the mafia. Once you get in this class, you can't get out of this class. No, you can get out of the class, but you have to specifically ask me, like, let me out of your class. Like the lasagna holds you together. It's like a gravitational force. So yes, so I encourage you to do level 2 because you've done level 1. Keep the continuity, and yeah, keep on coming back. I love feeding people lasagna. Come back, eat more lasagna. Brenda says, thank you so much as always. I feel the family collective connection so much when I'm in your class. Now to remember how to get home. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's a big part of it. I come here and I do the videos with everyone. Part of it is what my information for your intellect that my mouth is giving to your brain, but also part of it is the energy signature that we're sharing on an energetic level, and we're sharing on a level beyond the physicality. And it's meant to be like, remember what it's like. Remember, it's what I paint these paintings. This is what this is like. This is who we are. This is what we're supposed to be doing. So yes, that's also part of like getting into the band. Remember who we're supposed to be. Jeannie says, wow, that's so generous and amazing of you. Happy to do it. Repetition is what I need. I was going to review our videos from before, but this is better. that is good to know, and keep that in mind too. So I'm doing this semester, but then I'm going to take a break from this type of teaching and do other projects. But the webinars will always be up on YouTube. Like, I want to make sure that this is why I do this. I want people to find the stuff. So it's not like I'll be like, okay, like, that's it, guys. No soup for you, and I gotta take everything away. I'd be like, no lasagna for you. No, I'm not like that at all. So yeah, there will still be soup for you. And Pedro says, no matter how many times I see your classes, I always learn something new. Thank you, Pedro. I love you. Thank you for being in the class and for returning as a grad student. And you always have wonderful contributions and your own wonderful ideas. So, and if you look at Pedro's icon for his screen face, it's his own version of flying lasagna that he drew. So I think that's wonderful. I love you too. I love your lasagna. Thank you, Jeannie. I love the soup too. That is so wonderful. Oh, Dominic says I never mentioned Patreon. So yeah, so there's, I'm sorry if I didn't get through that. So Patreon is the monthly subscriber. That's if you want to pay $25 a month, you get enrolled. And when you are enrolled, you can download all of the homework lessons. Like, it's not like you just have access to them for as long as you're on the internet. Like, it's just like you get a book. You save a book to your, bookshelf or whatever. If you enroll and you get the homework lessons, you can save them to your computer. They're all downloadable. So you should be able to keep them for forever. And then if you're like, oh, in 5 years from now, you want to go back and look at that thing that was in that lesson, you can do it. And I recorded those lessons so that they would be not topical, not about the day-to-day stuff that's going on in the news. I recorded them 5 and 6 years ago, but they're meant to be universal, that they will be truthful no matter what is going on in the news. So my webinars, I spend a lot more time talking about what's presently going on, like 5G or other things like that. But then in the recorded lessons, they are just like the textbook that is just about what's going on. Ines says, when do you give a new concert? It was so awesome. Thank you for asking me that. Such a good encouragement. So, okay. In April, I did an online concert where I did music and projections of Flying Rainbow Lasagna. So first of all, what I'm just about to do is I did post-production on that. I fixed the audio track and I put credits on it. So now it looks super, super awesome. And I'm putting that up as a pay-per-view. So I'm just figuring out how to do that. So I'm fixing the archive of the concert that I just did, and then I'll start working on the next concert. And so it'll be coming very soon, probably in the next 3 months. So thank you for asking me about that. And I'm going to put the music that was from the concert up separately. Like, if you just want to have to listen on your headphones or whatever while you're meditating, like, I'll make that available too. And I want to do it like a pay-per-view download, but it won't be $1 million. Like, you guys know me. It'll be like a reasonable fee so that people can access it, and then I can also get paid. So we'll do that. It's coming. It's coming. It's good. But Jeannie says, wait, sorry, confusing. So what do I do to receive the homework? Don't worry, Jeannie. When it's homework time, you'll get, so there's recorded video lessons that are the usual homework. And then we're also talking this semester about doing drawing homework too. So I'll send out an email to everybody about what they need to do for getting their supplies for drawing. And then when we have our first day of class, I'll tell you exactly what to draw. Miniman says, thank you for being part of this class group. This is amazing and uplifting. You and your information is very helpful. I much appreciate it. Thank you, Miniman. I'm happy that you enrolled. It's good to see you. Jeannie is good. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to end the recording for right now. It's going to be a long upload for me. So let me just end the recording and say thank you. And yeah, for anyone, again, who wants the enrollment links, I always keep them in the description. So, and now is the perfect time because we're just starting the semester. So thank you very much.